What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Kinesio Outdoors gear review video. Today I'll be talking about the Akek Alpha 3200X. This is one of the 2 packs that Akek offers, and I had the cool opportunity to test this out for them. I took it on a 1-day fall bear hunt, and for me, this is a great size for day hunting with having some essentials just in case of a necessity to stay overnight. So one thing I want to talk about is the company Akek first, and then we'll dive into the pack. So Akek, from what I can tell, they're trying to provide extremely modular, adjustable, and customizable equipment and gear for your preferences. So there's a lot of options with this that you can change, move around to fit your needs, which is something that's really, really cool. All options here are included. So you don't have to pay for this separate. You don't have to pay for the hip belt separate. Everything's included in their price, which is lower than most of their competitors. So that's another cool thing. They have simple but purposeful products. So they don't have any super fancy things. The fanciest thing they have is going to be this quick release for your rifle, your bow. Everything else, just good, quality, purposeful features and accessories for the packs. So I think that's really great. Another thing that's a little bit unique, it's becoming more common, is they actually have a carbon fiber frame, which used to be just Kuiu with the carbon fiber frame, and now you have Kuiu, Initial Ascent, Kifaru, and Akek. I think the carbon fiber frame is great. The Kuiu, I used to own that, was pretty cool. The Kifaru arc frame, I have that, also pretty cool. I'm a big fan of carbon fiber, so it's just cool that they also have that. It kind of seems like that's where the industry is moving towards, and they're already there. And finally, Akek offers a lifetime warranty. While this is becoming more and more common with backpacks, it's still a really great thing to offer as just starting out as a company. So there's just some highlights about Akek. Now let's get into this pack. So I'll start with the pros, and then I'll go to the cons. You'll see I had many more pros than I have cons. So that's definitely a good thing considering this company's been producing and selling packs for a little over a year now. So definitely very impressive. I really like the fit. This backpack, the suspension system is very adjustable. This frame is supposed to fit people of all heights, and I am 5'9.5" to 5'10". I was able to find a fit, no problem. The hip belt is also very adjustable, and I'm not going to show that. Feel free to go onto the Akek website. The Akek YouTube channel shows how to adjust this hip belt. It's very adjustable. I really enjoyed that. I like my hip belt to go around my hips as much as possible. I have a 28 to 30 inch waist, kind of depending on like bloating and if I have a really full bladder. So I really enjoy that this wraps all the way around my waist rather than having a bunch of this strap material kind of on my front. So I really like that. And then also this lumbar pad is very adjustable as well. So these things in tandem really help to create a nice customizable fit to each person. Love that. I really am a big fan of the bag pocket layout. So we'll kind of get into that here. What we have, so I need to get out of frame to show the pocket layout really quickly. But on the front, I just have their little day pack is what they call it. This again comes free. No extra purchase necessary. All right, so on the front, they have a pocket right up top here. For me, that's great for snacks, headlamp, things that I don't want to get a hold of really quickly. And I have my gear in here right now, so I just want to show kind of how I packed it as well, and just give people an idea of what you can fit in the pockets. So in this front pocket, I have my stove, my water bladder, got my meals, and then there are 2 larger than my hand zippered pockets. These are a mesh zipper pocket. I just like it for the organization, but there's also the room in this pocket to hold those meals. So for me, this is great because I don't have to get into this main bag. It's easy for me to just flip this open, and then I can keep the main bag a little bit different organizational wise. So it's just nice that I can have this in case I want to be super stealthy. I can have this pocket for I'll be kind of in and out of the bag all day. And finally, I've got the main pocket, which is where I have things that I'm not going to need as often. So I have the rainfly, got a puffy, I've got my first aid kit and my kill kit, And then I've got a water bladder pocket, which I also double to use to hold my frog tog rain gear and my tie back. So big fan of the layout of this. The side water bottle pockets are great. And then these side pockets here are also great for, again, additional organization. I just put contractor bags in there. So I am a huge fan of the layout of the pockets. I like to have a bit of organization, but I don't want too much like the 511 packs tend to do. This, to me, is a happy medium. This water bladder is the best that I've used. Just for comparison, I've used an Osprey and I've used a Camelback, and I really like that the water bladder actually opens up on the top, so you can fit it fully in there. That's just kind of a side thing. It doesn't have to do with this pack necessarily, but I really like the water bladder. Now, full disclosure, this was a scratches and dents pack, and I looked over this very closely. I found maybe 2 spots where there were blemishes on the craftsmanship. This pack, if this is their scratches and dents, I am going to be blown away when I get my hands, if I even choose to get my hands, on a retail, what every customer is going to get pack. Because this just shows me how high their standards are for production quality. I found 2 minor dents. One of them was some fraying on a strap, and then the other one was kind of like a stain, kind of an abrasion issue on the very bottom of the pack. That was all that I could visually see. Totally not a big deal. I was looking for stuff, and I barely found those things. If I wasn't looking, I might not have even noticed. So, again, it's very impressive the quality that they're trying to achieve. I'm also a big fan of all the things that are included. So this little day pack being included, great. I'm a really big fan of that if I want to go and be sneaky. Rainfly being included, great. Big fan of that. A lot of companies charge $30 extra for that. This, it came with a dry bag. It's not the most expensive dry bag, but it just is a nice additional feature because if your water bladder decides to leak, your whole pack is going to be wet. It's just included. It's great. The hip belts are also included, and they fit plenty of things. There's also an ammo pouch in there as well. Again, it's just included. It's a really nice touch. So everything is, again, purposeful, and everything has a nice place so it can fit well and be sleek and organized. This quick release system is really cool. I need a bit more practice with it, but from what I can tell, once I get more practice, I got this pack the day before I went on my hunt. With some practice, I'm sure I could become very proficient with this quick release system, and I like it over other companies because it keeps the rifle out of my way versus some other companies have the rifle kind of hanging forward and it's kind of hanging off my shoulder. I just prefer it to be out of the way. What do we have next? I talked about the modularity. Yeah, so this pack is very customizable and adjustable. I'm just a big fan of that. Make it work for you. So, big fan of that. And unexpectedly, I was a really big fan of the zipper on the bottom. I'll try to show it here. Yeah, right here. This is the zipper on the bottom, so you can access things from the bottom. At first, I was like, who cares, right? Just pack your stuff. Well, when I was kind of going through things, that's where I keep my kill kit. That's just where it fits in there for me. I did not think I was going to be a big fan of that, but I wanted to switch out game bags for some lighter game bags. Instead of my elk game bags, I switched in I think I have the hybrid game bags from Kafaru. I switched those out, and instead of having to take everything apart after I just got it loaded the way I want it, I just zipped that, was able to get in there, and then able to put the kill kit back in. Really big fan of that. I wasn't expecting to, but that was just a really cool feature. So there's cons with everything. And some of the cons are, I felt that the shoulder straps could be a bit more padded. For me, they're a little bit thin. And I did have some issues with the ride of the pack, and I felt because I was bouncing between these and the hip belt, which also felt thin. I'll get to that in just a moment. So because the hip belt felt a little bit thin, I was trying to take some extra weight with my shoulders. I walked 12.2 miles. This pack was on my back for most of the day for about 11 hours, I think is how long it was, maybe 12 hours. Long time. 12.2 miles. It was about 45 pounds with my gun, my water, and all my day hunting stuff. So I would just like to see these straps be a little bit thicker. I feel like the width of them is pretty good. Maybe they could be a little bit wider, but I didn't feel that was an issue. I just felt a little bit of extra padding would be helpful. Another thing is the buckles on the frame. This is super nitty gritty. They look a little bit on the smaller side. So to me, that looks like a small buckle. Maybe I'm just used to other companies over buckling, just providing an extra durable buckle. But these just seem a little bit small, especially if I have a 60 to 70 pound Roosevelt elk rear leg. This is just going to have a lot of weight on it as I apply tension to keep that quarter nice and tight. So they seem like they might be a little bit on the small side, but I didn't test them for like strength, so maybe they're going to be fine. That's just kind of a visual thing. Maybe I'm just a little paranoid. Finally, I was talking to them and I was mentioning that the hip belt felt like it could use more padding. The lumbar pad I was a big fan of, but the hip belt I felt could use a little bit more padding. Well, actually, these hip belts came with the straps over the hip belt. And this material is less forgiving. It has less give than the actual padding. So Brandon over at Akek, and another thing, I really like that a company this small, I was able to talk to employees pretty regularly about kind of what I was working with. So that's a nice touch. But if I just tuck it back and don't secure this over the hip belt, I actually found that it's going to be a little bit more comfortable. This line here is going to be nice to go on my iliac crest, the top of my hip. So maybe that'll fix the problem. But again, the hip belt for me seems just a little on the thinner side. Not a huge deal. All right, yeah, that's all my notes. So pros and cons, ton of pros. Modular, includes everything you need. Great price point, lifetime warranty. I'm just a big fan of kind of first time out of the gate. Organization, everything's very purposeful. I think they did a great job. My cons are super minuscule. The straps on the shoulders and the hip belts feel like they could be a little bit thicker with padding, and the buckles seem to be a little bit on the weaker side. So that's my review of the Akek Alpha 3200 pack. Again, I only used it for one day, but when something's on your back for 11 hours, I think is how long it was, you can get a pretty good idea of how you like it, especially if you've been using backpacks. This is my fourth different backpack I've used over many miles, carrying quite a bit of weight. I kind of know what I like, what I don't like. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave comments. Drop a comment below. Please like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. And if you have just any other questions, please feel free to contact me on Instagram or leave a comment below. I'm still small on YouTube, so I read all comments and I try to respond to all of them. That's it for the Akek. Just again, in summary, highly recommend it. Great price point, great product, and they are just looking to improve all the time. That's it for this video. Thanks again, and we'll catch you on the next gear review.